If I sound out of breath, it's because I've just had to do human bobsleigh 100 metres down the fell side to rescue a drone. Happy days. I've been in a bit of a muddle this morning. Oh dear, that drone incident's put me right on the back foot. Every command I tried, it just wouldn't return to home, and in the end 100 metres straight down the side of Catbells to get it back. Fortunately no damage and everything's fine, but the walk back up, there's no path there, put it that way. It's all good exercise. It's good exercise. This morning I've had some absolutely amazing conditions. The forecast last night was for a sort of thick fog this morning. I've been a little surprised by how much cloud there was, but it's been great, absolutely great. The shot I had planned initially for sunrise didn't really come off because the shot I'm showing you on the screen now, this was taken 4 years ago, and I came up here this morning really to try and better that with the sort of better equipment and all that sort of stuff, but it became pretty apparent very quickly that the sun wasn't going to get up above the clouds till well after sunrise, so that sort of nice direct light in the foreground that I wanted wasn't really going to happen. So it was a case of changing tack, putting the long lens on. I came a bit further down the ridge to get a clearer sort of, well, not a clearer view, but a sort of closer view, if you like, of all that amazing mist and low cloud swirling around Skiddaw, and putting the 24-200 on and just having a play, really, just sort of picking off little targets and little bits that I could see in the landscape. I mean, when you come up to Catbells, it's only about 500 metres, but you're high enough up that you get really good views of all the higher tops around you. When you're above an inversion like this morning, it's a really great place to be able to just put the long lens on and just fire off shots at little bits of interest that keep sort of popping up. So the first image that I'm showing you here, this was actually the first shot that I took of the morning, and yeah, I mean, what a morning it was. As I'd mentioned, I'd gone up to shoot the wider view from the top of Catbells, but I was actually quite pleased in the end that the light didn't get out, because it forced me to go down the ridge and get the telephoto lens on and really look at the more interesting parts of the landscape. All the interest was going on in the distance towards Skiddaw. The thing that really attracted me to this scene in front of me was the strong intersecting diagonal lines you've got there. The way the snow's starting to melt and the darker part of the fell side's coming through, it almost gives it a sort of charcoal drawing sort of look, if you like. And also the way that the low cloud and the mist below is giving you a little window into the more interesting part of the landscape in the distance without sort of fully revealing everything that's going on. At this point I could start to feel that the light was starting to come through. It was getting a little bit warmer, and once the light popped up, we got this lovely shaft of light hitting the mist in the middle distance there. I've just pulled back a little bit on my focal length, and we've now got a little bit more of the wider scene, and Skiddaw there has revealed itself from the low cloud. What we've got now is this really lovely sort of layering effect that you get with longer focal lengths, and that little dash of light that's hitting the side of Skiddaw there just finishes this image off nicely, I think. I will apologise now
if this vlog's a little bit all over the place. But again, I've just been scrambling because the conditions are so good this morning that really the videography again has kind of got sidelined a little bit. I'll say it again, you know, I'm photography first and videography will be a distant second, certainly till I get better at it anyway. I hope you understand that. But yeah, I mean, I would normally give you the whole spiel about, you know, cameras on the tripod and these are my settings and all that sort of stuff. But the truth is 90% of these shots that I've been taking this morning have been handheld with the 24-200. And the IBIS built into the body is really freeing me up to get a lot of shots that normally I wouldn't be able to get, or I certainly would have had to raise my ISO up to a point that it would have started to sort of degrade the image a little bit. So some of these shots that I've been able to get, I mean, the view, the shot I've just been getting towards the sort of Causey Pike direction, the light over there and the mist swirling around is absolutely fantastic. I'll just pop that one on the screen now so you can have a look.
I'm laughing here because I've got in my notes for this image point camera at light, and really this image is that simple. Sometimes photography doesn't need to be complicated, you know. You see a nice patch of light and, you know, you just try and form an image around that, and that's really all I've tried to do here. There was one compositional element that I needed to think about, and that's that slope of the neighbouring ridgeline in the bottom right. I took several different compositions, left and right, and different focal lengths, just to try and balance that diagonal that's coming in from the corner. I didn't want that to sort of take your eye away too much from all that lovely mist and light that's going on above it. But I think I've done a pretty decent job of balancing this one, and a little bit like the first image that I showed you, the low cloud and the mist below is just creating a little window into the landscape, and the mountain here that's just poking out, it really was eye-catching, and hopefully the B-roll picked that up as well. You know, just such an amazing scene, and yeah, just had so much fun taking this image, because looking at my Lightroom catalogue, I've got about 100 versions of this, so yeah, I covered all bases with this one. I just briefly wanted to touch on this drone image that I took as well, because I'm absolutely terrible for remembering to use this drone for stills photography. I absolutely love using it for bits of B-roll, for the videography, especially when you're up in the mountains. It really does give you a unique perspective, and I think the drone really comes into its own, showing off the sort of big grand vista and the scale of the mountains and everything else. But I was really pleased to get this shot. You know, you've got that lovely light looking down into Borrowdale there, and then you've got the last remnants of the inversion just sort of lapping up the side of Catbells with the first light of the day hitting the mountain. So yeah, I was really pleased to get this. The funny thing was, shortly after I took this image, there was a paraglider going past, and because I had the drone in the air, I thought, well, this will make some really good B-roll, so I'll tail this paraglider for a little bit. So I'll put that on the screen so you can see it. I also got a quick action shot of this paraglider as well. I thought it would, you know, make a nice little image to go alongside all the other stuff that I shot that morning. But this was the point where I ran into communication issues with the drone, and basically the image that you're seeing there, I slid probably about 2/3 of the way down the mountain there to get the drone back, because I couldn't get it to return to home, and I didn't know where it was going to land, if it was going to land in a bush and I was going to lose it, or it was just going to drop out the sky and it was going to get damaged. So yeah, it was a tough battle up the hill to get back to where I was.
I'm suddenly reminded why I've not been up Catbells for 3 or 4 years. The last half an hour, it has been an absolute motorway coming up here. I mean, you can't blame people. It's such a good morning. We're getting a little bit of light now, and the mist's sort of, well, it's coming and going, but I mean, the views down to Derwentwater and Keswick and across the Skiddaw are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really can't blame people getting out. I've just come down the bank a little bit away from the crowds to do these last couple of pieces to camera. I don't really care about doing them in front of people. That doesn't bother me, but I'm aware that if you've come out for a nice walk in the peace and quiet, you don't want some idiot rambling to a camera within 6 feet of you. So yeah, I've just come out the way a little bit. But this morning, yeah, it's been absolutely great and quite liberating actually to get the camera off the tripod and just shoot everything handheld. I mean, I'm not wedded to a tripod in any way. It's just that my previous equipment, the D810 didn't have IBIS in the body, so your sort of handheld shooting capabilities were a little bit more limited. Whereas this Z7 with the IBIS has meant that this morning I've just been able to shoot everything handheld and get everything nice and sharp. So it's it's been really good. I mean, I've shot probably it's felt like 1,000 images this morning. It's way more than I normally do, and I normally usually only take maybe 5 or 10 pictures, but the light's been such that it's just been too good not to keep pointing your camera at stuff. I mean, half of them, well, more than half of them probably won't work, but it's been really enjoyable anyway. I was just thinking, I'm coming up to 6 months. Well, I've just passed 6 months on YouTube, and I thought I'll just take a little bit of time to reflect on how these videos are going. I hope you're enjoying them, and if you've subscribed to the channel, I really do appreciate that. I'm hopefully getting better. I mean, YouTube as a platform, anyone who's followed my photography before I came onto YouTube will know that I was pretty sceptical of YouTube itself, and I still am in some respects. But it's also opened my eyes a little bit, and it's been nice to learn a new skill and sort of learning the videography and the stills side together. It's been an interesting challenge and one that I'm not going to sort of chuck in the towel with anyway. So my plan is to keep producing these videos weekly. I mean, I'm not sort of bound by YouTube to do that. You know, my bread and butter is running a gallery. That's where I make my money. It's not YouTube, as I'm sure you're aware. But I do like to sort of stick to a plan, and that was the plan initially. So for the next 6 months, it'll be more of the same. Videos weekly or certainly fortnightly at the very least. And I'm just going to keep trying to sort of improve my skills really, because I am aware that when you come out on mornings like this and the conditions are, off the scale a little bit, my sort of first instinct is just to bin the video. So hopefully this video again has cobbled together okay and you've enjoyed it. If I've got any more images that I think are half decent, I'll put them up at the end, and hopefully they'll have turned out okay. Keep liking these videos, and obviously keep subscribing. It's the biggest help you can give me and the channel. And hopefully I'll be able to get out in the next couple of days again when there's some more snow apparently. And I'll see you in the next one.